We're back for another Dokkan battle video. Today we're going to go ahead and go through the entire side of the GT red zone with Cell and the Android team specifically, right? So we did the run, basically we took Cell and the Android team specifically through all of the movie red zone stages and no item them. Now today we'll go ahead and go through all of the GT side of the stages and no item them, right? The only real restriction I'm doing here is I just want to basically use double Cell and then restrict us to the Android category specifically, is what we're doing. Now, we start with the fight against Ledgic right here. Ledgic is literally nothing. Like, I don't know. Is Ledgic even harder than the God of Destruction bosses? I don't think so. Ledgic, like, this is just such a pointless stage, right? Like, I don't know what this is supposed to be. This Ledgic fight is so free. This is it. It's just this one boss with 6 health bars. I don't know. I mean, I guess he could do some damage. He did some damage to first form Cell right there, I guess. I don't know. I don't know that. But yeah, Ledgic, honestly, as a fight, is pretty free. Because Ledgic is just AGL, there's one phase. I mean, you can just load up on your strong tech units and then just disintegrate Ledgic. So, that's it. Honestly, a pretty free fight. Alright, so now we're fighting Lord Luud. Now, Luud is not necessarily like a super tough fight, but this is more in line with like an actually like challenging fight, is what Luud is right here. Because in his second form, I feel as though his power is very similar to what like the giant Lord Slug is able to do, right? And just like how Lord Slug is STR in that second phase, Lord Luud is also STR here in his second phase. So, you know, characters like the AGL androids will perform pretty well here, right? The AGL androids, of course, can work fairly well with the tech androids right there. So we got a pretty good opening rotation. You know, we were able to, you know, make use out of like AGL Super 17. AGL Super 17, as you guys have seen, has been on most of these runs. Of the 14 stages, you know, AGL Super 17 is, like, dude, he kills it. Like, look, this is the hardest content in the game, and AGL Super 17, he fits great on this Android category team. It just goes to show, like, there's many characters that kind of can be, like, sort of hidden gems, and all it takes, I mean, to be fair, we got a lot, right? Like, 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 both drop, right, on that banner, which they're like, they are the true core of the Android team, right? And then we get like the 16 and 18 banner unit, and then we get the Dokkan Fest Cell, right? LR Super 17 had released. We got the second form Cell banner unit, right? And then of course we have the AGL LR Androids EZA that happened. So it's like, sure, like these all are like relatively recent units, this Android team. But it just goes to show, I feel like the Android team right now is a good example of what Dokkan should sort of be doing, which is like, you know, kind of like assemble a competent team, and then we can sort of like move on and like build other sort of like competent teams, right? Like, it's like, they didn't, at the very least, when they dropped LR Super 17, he was by himself, right? It was unbelievable. The entire team were, like, in this run right here against Luud, literally the entire team came out after LR Super 17, except for AGL 17 on this entire team, right? So it's like, that is what Dokkan should, I think, sort of be focusing on, is assembling teams I would say further buffs to the android team are kind of unnecessary, though. And that is definitely going to happen because of movie stuff, right? Gamma 1 and 2 and all these characters. But Luud here is just basically a tough fight. I don't know that, there's, really, a lot of tech I gotta explain or anything like that. You know, android's active skill. I believe Luud is a beam super attack in both phases, though. I believe both phases are beam supers. I actually can't remember off the top of my head if this, the pan-absorbed Luud is a beam super, but I believe he is. So, you know, any, Ki Blast, beam super attack bosses in these red zone stages just get fodderized by our team, because 17 and 18 and 19 and 20 both cannot be touched by beam super attacks, and it just makes us just disintegrate, right? Alright guys, so I would say that the GT red zone is definitely way harder for a couple of reasons. Number one, there is no Saiyan fight, right? So it's you know, we're not able to use God Goku or Tech Caulifla. You know, none of these enemies on the GT side are Saiyan or movie bosses. So again, Tech God Goku, you can use him and he can be solid, but you don't have any sort of cheat units, I feel like, over on the GT side of things, whereas you do on the movie side of things. Also, I feel as though the gimmicks that these GT bosses are putting out are really tough to play around, whereas a lot of the movie bosses' gimmicks, besides Broly, of course, are really not that bad, right? Android 13 is a joke compared to Baby, right? Who Android 13 is stage 4 of the movie side, which is Baby is 1,000 times harder than Android 13, right? And same thing right here. Cooler, I think Cooler is a pretty tough fight actually, but I mean Rilldo is way harder, right? This Rilldo fight is tough. So what makes Rilldo tough? I believe Rilldo defensive debuffs you in all 3 phases, which, you know, if you guys are a long-time Dokkan player, you know that being defensive debuffed can be very frustrating, right? It can allow you to eat a lot of additional damage that you really wouldn't want to take. Int phases can be tough for this team. The reason for this is because the best unit on the team is the Tech Androids, right? They're the best unit on the Android category. So if we're fighting an Int enemy that can sort of hold them back a little bit, that is bad for us. Also, Rilldo is not, none of his 3 phases are key-based supers. So we can't sort of I don't know what the word I want to use as cheese him, I suppose. We can't cheese him with 19 and 20 and 17 and 18, you know, get out of jail free on his super attacks. So that's something that we have to keep in mind as well. And then, you know, Rilldo is a 3-phase fight where he's pretty tough in all 3 phases. But once we get towards the end, the final phase, very good turn for second form Cell right there. Not bad, not bad. A lot of damage. And once Cell's super attacking like that, defensively, he'll be looking much better as well. But once you get to the final phase, Rilldo can lock your rotations. You guys know how devastating character locking is. In particular, Rilldo and Bojack are tough red zone fights. Because in these 2 fights, we're getting locked at the end, right? That's the thing about Omega, where it's Omega just is so overpowering in his, raw damage. That's what makes Omega tough. But Omega's gimmicks, you know, he will lock and seal you at the start, but, you know, it is a terrible feeling when you have 3 attempts per day and the fight starts and, you know, he locks you, you know, a unit slot 1 and kills you and you're dead. But I would argue it's a worse feeling when you do, you know, a 15-minute fight and then you get to the end against Bojack or this Rilldo, and then they lock you in slot 1 and kill you. It feels way worse when you get to the end of the fight. So it's like Rilldo and Bojack, their gimmicks, I think, are nastier than even Omega, right? Because Omega, because it's the first phase, and then, you know, he's got the countdown super attack you can play around with. Now, I actually did choose to use LR Super 17 here, too. LR Super 17. One reason was because I did kind of want to pop his active skill. One thing that can be very good about Super 17, especially in, like, some of these fights where, you know, you could get locked and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. By the way, 10 million by Cell right there. Okay, dude. Sure. And then, yeah, there's another 10 million by Cell. All right, buddy. That's pretty good. Man, if you had a triple super right there, god damn. But I would like to get Super 17's active skill. That damage can be very helpful. He just drops that big-ass active skill attack, which can do good damage, because, remember, he is an LR, right, with high stats, so his active skill, it'll do good damage. But basically, I guess with Rilldo, it's just a matter of making it to the final phase, and then just not sort of getting locked in slot 1 and then instantly killed. The good news is that he is tech in his final phase, right? Which is another reason why I chose not to bring AGL Super 17. AGL Super 17, I think, still would have been okay, but, you know, we might have taken quite a bit of damage if, you know, things did not work out perfectly. And I was able to bring Int LR Cell because of the fact that the final phase is tech. I think Int Cell will probably still take quite a bit of damage, I bet you. But, you know, we now potentially have access to his heal. And, of course, he will have type advantage against the final phase of Rilldo. I don't believe that I even... I don't think that we transform in this run, though. I don't think that we're actually able to make that a reality. This actually played out pretty well, that I was able to sort of get, like, both cells right here. You know, like, this is the turn right before Rilldo becomes tech. But things could have been better for us if, like, Rilldo had aimed all of his attacks right at the start, and then potentially Super 17. Again, we could have gotten that active skill moving in. So here we go. This is where Rilldo gets a bit annoying, right? Because, again, he can lock us, and it's like, you know, we're kind of at the mercy of his locking. See, that sucks right there that in Android 16 got locked. Because remember, in Android 16 can be very... Oh my god, this turn is so bad. Look at the orbs. The tech androids are cucked as well. What a horrible turn this was. But we want to make sure to keep... I'll take 12k. This rotation, no support, no help, and sells at 12k damage. I'll take that, actually. That's not really too bad. But... So the androids aren't going to be able to get orbs, which is going to be bad for them. They're still... Okay, Rilldo doesn't hit that hard, I'm seeing. The fact that the androids, they only had 4k... Like, because there's no support on this rotation, right? There's no one supporting. But remember, we have to keep Super 17, and we want to keep Super 17 and 16 away from each other if possible. But at the very least, Rilldo is tech, which means that 16, no matter what, is going to technically be guarding, and thus he's going to get access to that damage reduction, right? Keep in mind that Super 17, I don't think is really going to be able to take these hits too well. He would take a lot of damage. All right, now I'm curious... How much damage... I believe Rilldo's going to super attack right here. How much damage does he do? Remember that Rilldo, I think, attack and defensive debuffs right here. 165... Dude, that's nothing. I mean, they had type advantage. Yeah, okay. I mean, Rilldo... maybe it's just how overpowered this android team is, but we're really not doing too bad. Okay, I guess we just freely win. We just destroy him. Rilldo can be a nuisance, though, man. Locking. He very easily could lock AGL Cell in slot 1, super attack us, and we're dead instantly, right? But it's just a matter of not having bad RNG. All right, guys. So now things get very tough. For a point in time, this was the hardest fight in the game. This fight against Baby is ridiculous for a number of reasons. Now, one of the big things that makes this fight very doable for this Android team, despite the fact that the last 2 phases are int, which is really bad because this is the best character on the team, right? So they're going to be locked down a little bit by Baby, right? But here's the thing about this fight. Every phase, Baby does key base super attacks. Voila, right? We're going to go ahead and absorb this right here. We don't have to worry about taking damage. So that is very helpful. The fact that we are going to be effectively able to cheese Baby the entire way through this event with both of them. This is okay. Cell is very good, goated unit, but Cell struggles badly in first and second form, depending upon what the situation is. He's really not, like, I would probably take the Goku and Gohan unit. I'll take Goku over first and second form Cell if there's not multiple enemies. Cell's just really not that impressive. So Baby starts out as tech, and then we get this. Like, it's just a horrible opening run. We barely managed to survive right there. Just a terrible opener, honestly. Like things could not have gone worse. At this point, I am aware, too, at least the androids will be able to heal us a lot. Dude, the androids. Look how insane the tech androids are. They just do so much. The tech androids are, like, people could say, like, oh, I think Goku and Gohan suck. I go, cool, whatever, I don't care. You're wrong, but whatever, I don't care. You know, people can talk bad about any unit in the game at this point. I don't care. But if you're going to diss the tech androids, I feel like you just don't know what you're talking about. They just do so much, dude. The Ghost Usher, the Nullification, they, like, you know, we got a good rotation of orbs, and they goddamn nearly healed us the full in one round. They're just so good. The only unit I'm really tying a cape on and defending right now, I would say, is the tech androids. You can say anything you want about any character or whatever, dude. The tech androids, don't you dare. They are just too good, man. Ginyu too, man. Like, don't diss Ginyu. Goat you, okay? He does not play around either, man. But yeah, the androids, they're just so dumb. Now, because of how difficult Baby is, again, this is a brutally hard fight. In LR Cell is not an option in here. I don't really think second form Cell, the STR support, is a great option either. Because, okay, by the way, remember that 17 and 18, they can only nullify if we're above 35% HP at the time of the super attack. Keep that in mind, right? And then, of course, 19 and 20 could absorb it as well. But I don't really think a lot of these good characters are options against Baby because of Grade 8 Baby. Grade 8 Baby is devastating. And we see, I have never seen Grade 8 Baby, like, give us a more difficult pattern than in this fight right here. We'll see. I'm going to make sure to keep doing commentary until we get to that point. But, like, Grade 8 Baby is so cheap. He is very unfair. So, like, I realized, like, I had to use my team that, like, I was using against, like, Omega and, like, Broly in the movie Red Zone, just because of how tough Baby is in his last phase. It is brutal. Baby is ridiculously hard. The Red Zone is going to come out on Global, and I feel like all the Gold players, like, you guys are just going to, like, be, like, laughing on all these stages. A lot of you, if you're using, like, Cell teams or Goku and Gohan teams, stuff like that, like, maybe if Ginyu comes out next month, you know, you'll be able to beat a lot of these Red Zone stages, even in Baby, pretty easily. But Baby is the first one that I think is probably going to catch people, where it's like, whoa, what the hell is this? Because Grade A, he does these AoE normals that are just so devastating. So this phase right here is nothing really too crazy, because, again, he's doing beam supers, and he's AGL, so, like, look at this. Like, he's just, like, hey, asshole, you're not going to kill us supering them. Like, it's just not going to work, right? Like, you can't do anything to them. 17 and 18, they're too good. They're too good. So it's just, like, where this Baby fight would have gotten out of control for us is either the opening, when Cell is weak, and Baby has type advantage over him, or the very end, when Baby is able to AoE attack. Because of Baby's AoE attacks, that's why, like, second form Cell is very iffy. Some of these characters can be very iffy because, remember, most units in the game right now get defense on super attack or need to attack to have all their defense. But if Baby is sitting in slot 1 AoEing the entire phase like 3 or 4 times, which he does in this video, like characters like Second Form Cell cannot survive. Even though Second Form Cell, depending upon the rotation, can get relatively solid defense, right, after he supers, enough to be relevant in a lot of these red zone fights. But it's like not against Grade 8 Baby. Grade 8 Baby is too crazy. Super Baby 2 here is, you know, there's nothing really too crazy with him, but he is doing his super attack, which is a beam, so we don't really have to worry about that. Basically, what this run will come down to, like a lot of these other runs, is simply just, is Android 16 guarding? Is Android 16 and 18, are they guarding? Like that, unfortunately, is just what a lot of these runs turn into. Because it's like, once Cell goes perfect, he is pretty good. Well, he's another unit, by the way, that will take damage. This is like, remember that Cell does have his dodge chance, though, which I think does help us out quite a bit at points in this Grade 8 Baby fight. Cell being able to dodge can help a lot, but Cell gets most of his defense when he's super attacking. He gets hundreds of thousands of defense, Cell does, when he's super attacking, right? So that's another thing to keep in mind, just like the huge effect a lot of these characters are getting when they super, and why some of these bosses like AoE Broly and then, you know, Baby right here can be so devastating when they're sort of hitting your entire rotation. The good news, though, is that, you know, even though int types are trouble since the tech androids are not, like, they're going to get locked down a bit, we do have 16 and 18 available to us, right? Where it's like, at the very least, they can't be killed, essentially, right? Although Grade 8 Baby's super attack is another, like, just, like, devastating death blow. But it is also a key-based super, so 17, 18, 19, and 20 can all lock it down. Now, one thing to be careful on is, remember, 17 and 18 don't nullify if our HP is below 35%. Oh, this is the unfair turn. Yeah, look at this asshole. No. Is this it? No, I think it's next turn. I think it might be next turn where he AoEs at normals 4 times. Or is this the turn? This might be the turn I'm thinking of. But look how cheap this is. So bam, 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 and then he just keeps doing this. Like, dude, if not for like 16 dodged right there, like that's like if not for like multiple dodges, like we're dead. He just does too much. He's doing too much damage to the whole team. Like, what do you do? Like, what do you do against this? Like, look at this. Like and then the androids again. Okay, wait, actually, were they? Wait, were we below 35% HP and they still nullified it? So that's not how that works? But I gotta take a look at what our HP is. Oh yeah, I guess it doesn't work that way. Okay, I thought. Okay, so their nullification. Okay, I just learned this. I guess their nullification is start of turn, right? So it's like if you enter the turn above 35%, they will nullify it. But if you're below 35% start of the turn, maybe they don't nullify it. Is how that must work. I know that they also have another condition for their super attack, right? Where they get a guaranteed additional super when they're under 35% HP. But I think that one activates only when they're actually under 35% HP. But whatever. Well, we were able to nullify it. Okay, well, cool. Look how close. Dude, look how close this is. Baby is just, he hits so hard. AoEs are really tough to deal with nowadays. And Baby does stun, as you guys can see right there. But it doesn't really matter too much because we're able to heal significantly. Now, oh my god, yeah. Look at all the AoEs again. Thank God we have the tech androids, man. Every turn, this guy is just like doing like 50 AoEs everywhere. What a cheap little prick this Baby is. But we're able to get through it, right? You know, usage of the tech androids, and then the cells are able to go crazy and stuff. But man. Baby is a tough fight, man. He's really tough. Alright guys, next we're fighting Super 17. Super 17 is another pretty tough fight with a, you know, interesting gimmick. Again, I really do feel like sort of like watching these runs back, the GT side feels tougher. How many of these runs, by the way, have we gotten this rotation? Like, it's actually just comedy how often this bullshit happens to me. Because it's like, again, first form Cell is not particularly great. At the very least, though, there is 2 17s right here. So first form Cell is a little bit better than typical, right? 16 didn't get his guard. So just a very iffy opener right here. Now, the way this fight works is the two, don't be lulled to sleep. These 2 Android 17s, these guys are not free like, you know, Bojack's minions or Turles' minions or Lord Slug's minions or anything like that. These guys are actually pretty tough. These 2 Android 17s right here. So we really don't want to underestimate them. I mean, as you guys can see, they're beating the dog piss out of us right now. We're getting obliterated right here. But this is where, like, this is a fight, like, if you play it well. Like, when I very first no-item this fight, I was actually using the Hybrid Saiyan team, right? Because I went very slow through the 17s, we built up, and then you get the Super 17. The thing about Super 17 that can be tough, depending upon what team build you're using, is that key-based super attacks you can't use against Super 17. He absorbs them, right? It actually is so frustrating to see. Like, we're fighting LR Super 17, and he's, like, nullifying and absorbing our Ki Blast. It's like, hey, I sure wish our LR Super 17 could do this. It would make him quite a bit better. But that's what can make this fight tough. Now, luckily for us, all of our really powerful units are not key-based units, right? Like, Cell's not a key-based character. The Tech Androids is not a key-based character. Neither is 19 and 20. They're not a key-based character, right? So the main core of the units we're using are not doing Ki Blasts on Super 17, so we'll be okay. AGL Super 17, I believe he's our only Ki Blast character, but that's okay. I mean, we'll do... Here's the thing about Super 17 for the Android team. He's very tough, he is. But we have Cell, right? Cell has type advantage over Super 17. So all it takes is one turn of Cell doing... We're not going to be able to do, like, the triple 10 million attack stats because we don't have another Cell on the team. But all it takes is for Cell to do one, like, you know, triple 7 million attack stat turn where he triple crits or something like that. And we're taking off half of Super 17's life, right? And by the time we reach Super 17, I think both of our Cells are going to be perfect form, right? So we're not going to have anything to worry about there. But yeah, this fight, basically, it's just... you know, smart team building to make sure you're not, like, overloaded with key base characters. Because remember, Super 17 doesn't block them. He absorbs it. He gets the health back. So that's what can be tough, too, if utilizing these really powerful, like, anniversary level characters, right? Like the LR Gods, LR Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, or even the LR Super Saiyan Goku and Gohan. One thing that makes those characters so powerful is that they have these godly active skills, which are guaranteed crits and give you guaranteed crits for the turn. But all those active skills are all key-based. So you will, like, full heal Super 17 if you use their active skills. So that's what can make this fight tough, is you can't take advantage of those amazing guaranteed crit active skills, right? And as you guys can see, Super 17 has got a lot of health. The other thing, too, is that Super 17... his super attack is a weapon super attack because he's doing the Gatling gun, right? That's what this... because this is the TUR of LR Super 17. So we just want to be careful of that. Hopefully Cell will be the one eating the super attacks. Or maybe, like, you know, AGL Super 17 probably would eat super attacks the best, right? And it's just one of these things where as long as, like, 16 and 18 are not getting supered without their guard up, right? Like, we should be able to make it through, so... there we go. There is the Super 17 fight. Alright, guys, now we're gonna go ahead and fight the Shadow Dragons. So this is, I believe, the longest red zone fight. Because we have to fight, there's 6 phases. There's 6 Shadow Dragons that we have to fight, ending with Ice Shenron. Okay, look, dude, literally every fight we get the same opening rotation. You know, double cell, but look at the god RNG we got. Like, this actually was so perfect. We did get double cell opening rotation, but it was beautiful the way we got it to where we're completely fine, right? Like, this actually, we actually couldn't have gotten a better opener than that. Even though we got double cell opening rotation, it was just so perfect because we're able to completely hide both cells for a long time. And, you know, by the time Cell comes back, you know, he's going to be going second form where he gets a lot better, and then eventually perfect form, again, where he gets a lot better. So we are going to be, you know, in a much better position than we could have been with a bad opener. A bunch of these fights start out with tech enemies. They are what's scary for the Cell team, right? Because Cell, I always say this, against one enemy, first form Cell is not really that impressive, right? He'll get us killed very fast. So we do have to be pretty cautious of that. So I guess the thing, though, our Android team, we don't really, like, build up, right? Like, Super 17 does build up as he gets hit, for sure. You know, I guess technically we do want to get to turn 5 so that the cells are perfect. But besides that, like, we don't have, like, a bunch of, like, stacking characters and stuff like that. Now, the thing about this fight, this is a fight that, while it is tough, because it's so long, you could definitely cheese this fight, right? Like, the Universe 6 girls can pretty effortlessly no-item this stage, I believe, right? Because it's just so long, you're just able to build, like, stack these characters up so much. All the dragons pretty much have different gimmicks. The first, Haze Shenron doesn't do anything special. This dragon right here, Rage Shenron, he nullifies, key-based super attacks, but all he does is nullify them, right? Remember, Super 17 absorbs them and heals from them. But this Shenron, he just blocks it, so it's not a big deal, right? So it's like if we get the super attack with Super 17 right here, if he had additional super, we would be blocked. So, you know, we just would want to be careful of that. The third fight is Oceana Shenron. There's nothing really too special about her. She just randomly changes key spheres, but it's not really a big deal. The fourth fight is, what is it, Naturon Shenron, I believe is his name? Yeah. He will randomly seal you. Now, I've talked about this non-stop throughout a lot of these sort of like red zone runs and red zone videos and stuff like that, how bosses sealing you is actually a pretty devastating thing they can do, because nearly all good units these days are getting a massive amount of defense on super attack. Not only just from, you know, like getting straight up defense when characters super attack, but then also getting defense from super attack effects. So oftentimes characters are like double and tripling up on defense they're getting when they actually do go ahead and super attack. So, you know, bosses that could seal us can be pretty tough. He is int as well, so we would have to be careful with the tech androids, but he does do a key blast super attack. I think, like, the 4th, 5th, and 6th phases, I believe, are all key-based super attacks. I think Ice Shenron is a key-based super. I can't remember, because he does that little, like the Ice Blast. I believe that's key-based. So, you know, Nova, Ice, and Natron Shenron, the tech androids, and then the int androids. These two, 17, 18, 19, and 20, we could just nullify it and either block it or absorb it and heal with 19 and 20, right? So the fourth fight really is sort of the scariest. Nova. I believe Nova is the hardest hitter in this stage, and Nova actually can do damage, I believe, comparable to, like, Omega and Broly levels of damage. Like, he hits really hard. So we do want to be careful about that. But the thing about Nova is that he's SDR, right? So it's like we have, you know, Cell, who, you know, with a good turn could mostly wipe Nova out, and we don't really have to worry about that. But of course, a super attack aimed at, like, in Android 16 or 16 and 18 is death if they're not guarding, right? Again, remember that int 16, he's able to guard if the entire rotation is Android Cell Saga, or if we're going up against 3 characters, right? Here's Natron Shenron. But again, it's a key-based super attack, so we could put the androids in slot 1, and we're completely safe, right? Like, this is what just makes them so crazy, is like, you know, so much of the game, like, you can't just put them type disadvantage in the red zone, but the androids, they just don't care. Like, they don't care. It's like, whatever, okay. They just block your super attack. We don't care. It's crazy. They're so crazy. And then the final phase, Ice Shenron, is actually kind of annoying because he locks as well. Ice Shenron locks. And, you know, I talked earlier about how it's really frustrating when you get, you know, to the end of like a 20-minute long fight and then you get locked in slot 1 and killed, which definitely can happen. Ice is also a physical type unit. So we are running multiple int units who potentially could be killed, but again, I believe Ice does key-based super attacks. So like if 19 and 20 get locked into slot 1, we could absorb Ice's super attack. And then if 16 would get locked in slot 1, we do have the ability to guard, right? We just, you know, have to flip a coin and hope that we get lucky and we get the guard, right? But there is the Shadow Dragon stage. Again, the longest one. This goes on for a long time, right? Because it's not like there's 6 Shadow Dragons, and it's not like that they all have, like, no health. Like, you know, these Shadow Dragons have got HP bars upon HP bars, so it does take a while to sort of, like, whittle away down all these Shadow Dragons. guys, so now we're going up against the final fight in the GT Red Zone here. We're going up against Omega Shenron. I would, think that, I would argue Omega Shenron is the second hardest boss in the game after only Broly. Now, the thing that can be very, very frustrating with Omega, right, is that opening turn against this guy, he can lock and seal us, which is very frustrating, right? Sometimes he does it, sometimes he doesn't. It's not guaranteed he does it every single turn, thank God. Only Bojack. Bojack is the only boss I've ever seen that guaranteed locks and stuns you every single turn, right? I've never seen a boss that guaranteed does it every turn. Now, but here's the thing. Despite the fact that Omega, it's very easy, right? Like, he easily could have locked, like the tech androids in slot 1, and we would have been instantly dead, actually. Because it's not a key-based super attack that the LR Shadow Dragon, army does, the Legion of Shadow Dragons. That's not a key-based super attack, so we would have died, right? But the androids were able to seal him. Remember, they did sort of add this little bit of a backdoor into both the Omega fight as well as the Broly fight, in that you can seal and stun both of their first phases, which is good. It does give you a chance to set yourself up. And then, the Shadow Dragon army right here, even on top of being able to stun and seal, which you could also do against Broly, you can also attack debuff this, LR Shadow Dragons right here, which you're not able to attack debuff STR base form Broly, but you can do it to the Shadow Dragons right here. So, once we get the androids, little prick supered us slot 1 both times. Thanks, asshole. But it doesn't matter, right? Because we're able to sort of keep him sealed. I mean, even if he didn't, he's supering 16 and 18 who could take it. But then, he's not given a chance to super anyone else, which would be really bad, right? The androids, if they had 10 orbs, they could probably eat his super attack. But, I mean, they're going to do a huge amount of damage. We do have to be careful. And to see, a turn like this would be pretty bad, but, dude, look at, he's attack debuffed and he's sealed. So it's we have a real fighting chance of sort of getting through here. So we make it through the first phase. Remember that his second phase is usually pretty tough because you do want to load up on physical type units for the final phase. But the android team is different because we're essentially able to cheese it a little bit. Because the STR Sin is a key-based super attack character, and so is the final phase, the hardest hitting boss in the game, into Omega Shenron, is also a key-based super attack character. So once we get through phase 1, we don't have to worry about eating super attacks oftentimes on characters that would get us killed. The only character we would have to directly worry about is wow, okay. Well, that hurt quite a bit. And 16 was sealed right there, too. So, but it's 16 and 18 in the second phase against STR Sin. We would have to be very cautious of them. They could very easily get killed if STR Sin does super them. By the time we reach... oh, actually, do I use my rage here? I think I do. I probably should, yeah. We were just about to get out of this phase, and then he got a little annoying with his locks and seals, so it's best to just go into Cell's rage mode and use this to finish him off. I think, is this the only instance we have in the entire... so in this challenge, right, Cell and the Android category team against all 14 stages, I think this is the only stage in which we actually utilize Cell's rage mode, and it was in phase 1. Cell's rage mode, by the way, is very good. Don't let anyone tell you differently. It's very, very good. Because he's guaranteed critting. So his damage is actually going to be fairly impressive with guaranteed crits. So I do like Cell's rage mode transformation. You don't see it often, but when you get it out, it does feel very powerful to me. Sin messes up, supers them, and bam, we're pretty much healed back up to full. They're so stupid. 19 and 20. I probably would put 19 and 20 as the second best banner unit. They're so good, but it's just Raccoon and Kolto are they're just different, man. They're you can't even, they're just in a banner unit tier of themselves. But I probably would put 19 and 20 at number 2, maybe Birder and Jace at number 3, then maybe we could discuss Heart Virus Goku or something like that. But yeah, by this point, we're pretty good. We would want to be careful. The final phase of Omega, remember, Omega hits viciously hard in that final phase. But keep in mind that he does do a countdown super attack, He does do 1.5 million damage on that super attack, so it's like we have very few characters who could just like outright tank it and like easily live. But it is a key-based super, so, you know, 17, 18, 19, and 20 will be able to absorb or nullify it or whatever. And Omega, he super attacks on the second turn every time, right? So it's like, you know, he counts down turn 1, and then at the last attack of the second turn, he does it. Because we always know where the super attack is going to be, it makes him just much more bearable to sort of make it through. So, there we go. I mean, that pretty much is the entire red zone. You know, we got it all done with Cell and the androids. Maybe I'll look into doing this with some other teams. I definitely could do it with the Goku and Gohan team as well. The only stage that I think would actually be really annoying is Super 17. Because so much of that Goku and Gohan team, I will probably make the challenge. I might restrict myself to maybe just Goku family. Led by the Goku and Gohan team. I think it's a little bit more fun if I'm just, like, doing, like, one category rather than, like, oh, you know, like, I don't know, the Android team, oh, but I'll toss, like, God Goku on there or something like that, right? Like, I don't know. It's just doing, like, one category team. Again, I might do it with Goku and Gohan, but the Super 17 fight is one that would be really hard because so many of those powerful characters are key-based super characters. Like, you know, the STR Gohan himself is key-based, so he's always going to be healing Super 17. It would be an annoying fight, but maybe it would be interesting to watch. So let me know what you guys think of this, you know, sort of using these teams to take out every single stage. I might do this, you know, maybe, like, if the movie characters are hype, I might use them to try and no-item all the red zone stages or whatever. Let me know what you guys think. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.